Hello, this is Corey. Today is June 28th, 2025. It's a Saturday, and I'm just going to be presenting you with my valuation metric for equities and could potentially be any form of asset or value in the future, but for now it's focused on equities. I'm not here to entertain. I'm here to simply provide you with information and proprietary analysis that I've created and built myself. So I will first give you a brief market update. I'm not going to get into the details and specifics or analysis of the stock market as the valuation metric is the main purpose of this video. And then after the market update, I'll present to you my Lico valuation metric. And yes, these palm trees are AI generated. All right, so here's a brief market overview. As I mentioned before, I won't be going deep into the analysis of the market, but just to present the information. So here's three indices, how they performed. They were slightly up on Friday. And here's the sectors. And this is thanks to Fidelity. They're the platform that's providing this information. You can see the consumer discretionary top performer on Friday. And then I'll quickly go through each timeline so you can see who the top performers were with each time increment. 1 year is a good determinant to see how these sectors are performing. As you can see, financials is performing the best, with healthcare and energy the bottom performers. And on a longer term timeline, IT sector is the best, with real estate not performing so well in past 5 years. And here's the market weights and market caps of each of those sectors for the S&P 500. And if you're more into charts, this is a chart of the S&P 500 with put a few indicators, the VWAP, RSI, and volume oscillator. And I'll just quickly go through these timelines. The all-time goes back to 1985 when the S&P opened at 167.20. I also get a lot of the information from this list of investment resources that I created over the past several years. Um, it's password locked, and if anyone is interested in it, please let me know. I'll go over a few of these resources, starting from the bottom, because I think that no one in the entire internet has any list of resources as intricate or in depth. Um, so here's just some of these resources. I won't scroll too much to give away too much of this information, but this list is composed of over 475 resources, and every week or month I'll add more and more. And this is a sort of template for my Lico valuation metric. I started this multiple years ago, and some of the specifics of the prices and information regarding each individual stock may be outdated, but it's more so the point of showing you the metrics, the set of metrics that I've used collectively to value an equity. So this is one of the views of what the template looks like, and then I'll get to the or more finalized version, which doesn't have this top half of what a company will show as a sort of header for each equity. And this is a more finalized version of the Lico Valuation Metric. This price is correct, up to date, but again, a lot of this data is outdated as it takes a good bit of time to update all of the information that I've gathered based on each individual stock that's being analyzed for me to update the information. So as you can see, I have each metric listed, I have them categorized, and I start from the very basics, such as mission statement and vision statement, and then I'll give each metric an importance rating from 1 to 9. So as you can see, the mission statement, every public company has a mission and vision statement, but is that going to move a price in a certain direction? No. So that's why the importance of the mission statement is a 1 out of 9, because it has virtually no effect on the movement of a price of a stock. So how this works essentially is I'll take a metric, for example, market capitalization. I'll give it an importance of 4 out of 9, which is fairly high compared to some of these other metrics. And then I'll compare it to both the sector average and the industry average and or top company. And at this back in 2023, Amazon did have the largest market cap in the entire industry, United States stock market. So they were both the sector and industry leader. You can see the percent of average is greater than 100% because they were the number one leader in market cap. So I gave them a rating of, they received 4 out of possible 4 points of importance. So they got 4 points. I'll use each of these points collectively or cumulatively to give them a rating out of the possible rating, and that will help me determine the value of each equity being analyzed. Let's look at another example. And this is not the finalized product, as it takes a good bit of time to gather all of this information. Okay, so let's look at performance on the year. So I gave this an importance level of 6 out of 9, so it's fairly important regarding the stock's price. And their performance back in 2023 of whichever timeline this was 7.21%. That's the sector uh, average. And then we have the top performer of the entire sector, which is 300%. But we're comparing them in this ratings to the average. So as you can see, they were just below the average of the entire sector. So 0.963%. And of course, the max points is 6. So they received 5.783 points out of the max of 6. So again, we're going to use this number divided by this to give them the score, their total overall score. And I won't give too much of all this metrics that I'm using and gathering, because I can guarantee you there's not a single stock market or equities website or platform that has all of these metrics that I'm showing you. And of course, the ones that you're seeing are all very basic and fundamental, but I delve very deep into these companies and present some information that no single stock market website or platform has collectively because they don't think outside the box, respectively, regarding companies, and they don't look at a lot of metrics that do determine the price or valuation of a stock. And this is only the fundamentals, and this is only line 317. And of course, with titles and skipping line, it's probably close to about 250 or so metrics as of this point, and you can tell that I'm not even halfway through the page. But yeah, up till now, still a lot of vast majority of market websites and platforms do have all this data. Do they have bloggers' opinion or sentiment? Several of them don't, but the more metrics that I add, the less platforms that have this information available until I start getting real specific to where not a single platform has all of these metrics combined. And again, I won't get too deep into the specifics. And of course, I haven't completed all of the data as it takes a good bit of time. And this is just for presentation purposes. So I think we're starting to get into some of these detailed and specific metrics that not many platforms even look at or consider, at least publicly, to their investors or clients, even in paid subscription methods of their platforms. And I won't get too much into the details of all of these metrics, but collectively, and this is as of May of this year, I do also evaluate the entire market on several of the metrics to compare because the entire stock market does have an effect on each equity's stock price. So the total metrics, if I include the market, so macroeconomically, is greater than 423. And metrics that are specific to the company is about 396. And as you can see, with the formula that I used, they were, and again, this is not every single metric looked at. This is only the ones that I've presented the data on this document. But out of the ones that I did input, Amazon, as of 2023, received 55.375 points out of possible 61, giving them a rating of 90.78 out of 99.99, which is very high rating and deservedly, as they're one of the largest companies in the entire world and were the largest in the United States at the time. So all of this information gathered, I can guarantee you there are dozens and dozens of metrics that I consider and look at that not a single platform even reviews or considers because I honestly don't know why. Maybe they don't want the public to know the information that they have that's publicly accessible, but they don't want to present it because maybe it's too much information for an investor. And this was from August of 2023, and you can see I gave this company a 90.78 out of 99%. So we can look at Amazon back in August of 2023. And to be fair, we'll look at around the peak or the middle because I don't have the exact day of the month. We'll say it's 138 and now it's 223. And that return over that timeline gives them an ROI of about 61%. And that's not even in 2 years. So annualized greater than 30% a year, which is a highly respectable return that I guarantee you any portfolio manager or retiree would gladly be proud of. And I also did some research on other stock market websites that I counted how many metrics they maintain for each equity. And I'm going by the total amounts. So two websites that I respect for doing some stock market research. Yahoo Finance, as you can see, about 263, and that includes total market metrics. And then Zacks, so Zacks.com, has over 408. So similar range to what I have, but again, that's the total, every single metric combined for a stock, including the total stock market. And that excludes the metrics that you have to pay extra for, aside from the free metrics. So you can see comparatively, my total is over 423, and the other websites, what their totals are. But again, the metrics that they have, I can guarantee you, do not include dozens of metrics that I look at that these companies either don't think about or don't consider or don't find as valuable to provide their customers or investors with. Well, thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed my valuation metric that I created with the formula and calculations that I maintain. This video is simply a review of my valuation metric, coined Lico Valuation Metric. I'll mention again, there are hundreds of metrics that I didn't show, and dozens, if not multiple dozens, of metrics that I can guarantee you that several of the major investment platforms do not include or show publicly, or at all for that matter, that I do account for on my valuation metric. So, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and peace.